Oldboy is a Korean psychological thriller directed by Park Chan-wook and released in 2003. The film follows Oh Dae-soo, a man who was suddenly imprisoned for 15 years without explanation, and who after being released seeks answers and revenge for his imprisonment. Oldboy is one of the most critically acclaimed films to come out of Korea, and has been widely analyzed for its dark and mature themes, unexpected plot twists, and intentionally ambiguous ending, which leaves viewers to come to their own conclusions. Today, however, I'm going to focus on something a bit different. I'll be analyzing aspects and ideas of Confucianism that are woven throughout the film's narrative. But to do that, first we need a quick history and the basis of Confucianism's role in Korean society. Confucianism is a philosophical and ethical system based on the teachings of the 5th century BCE Chinese philosopher Confucius. It was introduced to Korea early in its history but became especially influential under the Joseon dynasty, serving as the state religion for hundreds of years. Two important concepts in Confucianism are key for this analysis. The first is Li, the idea that every person has a social role, and if everyone acts according to those rules, society can be harmonious. Second is Qi, a sense of shame one feels after violating a rule, which can motivate atonement and moral improvement. Confucius captured these ideas in this quote: "If the people be led by laws, and uniformity sought to be given them by punishments, they will try to avoid the punishment, but have no sense of shame. If they be led by virtue, and uniformity sought to be given them by the rules of propriety, they will have the sense of shame, and moreover will become good." The quote highlights that if the only things enforcing the rules outlined by Li are laws and punishments, people will simply try to avoid punishments and won't really feel that they've done anything wrong. But if people are led by virtues and morality, an internal sense of shame, Qi, will stop them from violating their rules and will give them the desire to atone and improve themselves. Those ideas appear throughout the core narrative of Oldboy, and they're what I'll be examining in this video. To start, let's look at the inciting event of the story and how it follows this Confucian structure. The chain of events that sets the film in motion begins with a private transgression. Siblings, Li Wujin and Li Sua, are involved in a taboo relationship. That relationship is, from a Confucian perspective, a violation of the proper behavior expected between a brother and a sister, a breach of Li. Oh Dae-soo witnesses this and then spreads rumors about the relationship at their high school. The public exposure produces a powerful sense of shame, Qi, in Sua. Driven by that shame and by the desire to atone, Sua takes her own life, despite Wujin's pleas. Her death spares the Li family from the shame and dishonor that their incestuous relationship would have brought, and allows Wujin to live a very successful life free from controversy. Her death also destroys any possibility of continuing the relationship. In Confucian terms, this sequence depicts an extreme example of restoring harmony through atonement and self-action, rather than through formal punishment or legal process. But the initial sexual breach isn't the only moral failure in the story, and it's not the one the narrative centers on. The other crucial violation is committed by Dae-soo when he recklessly spreads the story as gossip. He treats the secret casually and spreads it for entertainment, ignoring the real consequences it could have for the Li family. Those rumors eventually contribute to Sua's death. Unlike Wujin and Sua, Dae-soo feels no shame for his actions and does not atone. In fact, he does not even remember doing it. We meet him in a police station on his daughter's birthday, absent, disruptive, and violent when restrained. He fails the basic responsibilities of fatherhood. After he's released to his friend, he feigns better future behavior and then immediately falls back into crude language and gestures and runs off to avoid further punishment. It's clear he does not behave according to his social roles and repeatedly disturbs social harmony, treating his actions as entertainment, showing no sense of shame and no desire to improve. Although the audience is not yet aware of his previous actions, it is clear that he is morally unchanged, essentially the same person who spread those rumors years earlier. After leaving the station, he's abducted by men hired by Woojin and imprisoned in a secret facility for 15 years with no explanation. The confinement doesn't reform him. He resists restraint, repeatedly tries to escape, and after release continues to pursue revenge with brutal violence. Punishment only constrains his actions. It does not create internal shame. That all changes when he confronts Woojin. In this confrontation, Woojin explains that the chain of events that led to Sua's death, and why he orchestrated everything that's happened to Daesu. Then he delivers the final twist. Mido, the woman Daesu has fallen for and slept with, is actually his daughter, and Woojin engineered it through psychological manipulation. Enraged, Daesu tries once again to escape the consequences of his actions and attempts to physically stop Woojin from sharing the truth with Mido, but he fails. Defeated, he finally reflects on the past and the casual way he spread rumors about Woojin and Sua. He sees the harm he caused Sua and how his thoughtless words now threaten Mido in the same way. Confronted with that shame, both for his earlier behavior and for the involuntary incest, he begs Woojin not to tell Mido the truth. He apologizes, offers himself up, and even dehumanizes himself, acting like Woojin's dog in a desperate attempt to atone. In the end, he performs an extreme irreversible gesture and cuts off his own tongue, to literally prevent himself from ever using his words carelessly again, a symbolic attempt to acknowledge the weight of his words and spare his daughter from the shame he helped cause. In the film's logic, this closes the cycle. Shame leads to atonement, and the broken moral order is answered not by authority, but by internal transformation.